is the card that I made yesterday, and it is a shaker card. I haven't put anything on the inside of this yet. I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted to do other than just have this little happy Halloween. I just left it blank, and I think that it would be cute to put some designer series paper on the inside, but this was kind of a last minute put together project for today's Walla stamping. And so anyways, that's as far as I got with this project. And I would probably go ahead and cut another piece of designer series paper to put on the inside of this card, and then maybe have another piece of Whisper White cardstock down here that you could write a message in. But I think shaker cards are so cute, so I decided to do a shaker card for you today. So let me get everything out here and we will get started. And I did not write down the measurement of everything that I have here, because some of it is not really, some of it's just going to be scrap pieces. But your card base needs to be 8.5 by 5.5. So it's 8.5 this way. I scored it at 4 1/4 and then folded it in half. I've gone ahead and taken my layering circles framelits, and this is the largest circle that I have placed here. What I'm going to do is grab my big shot real quick. Hey Debbie, how are you doing today? Let's see, hopefully I have this in view. So I'm going to take this, and I've just used a little bit of Post-it note tape to make sure that I got this measured and am holding it centered left to right. I'm not going to worry about from top to bottom so much, but I did want to make sure that I had the same measurement from one side to the other. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this through the big shot and get that circle cut out. Outside with your dog again. How is your weather this week? I'm going to save this, by the way, because I'll be using it for something else later. I'm going to take that off. Then what I'm going to do next is, where is my designer series paper? It's right here. I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm going to lay it in here where I know that it's going to go on the outside. Just, I'm getting it centered up between this score line and the edges. I'm going to go ahead and put a little piece of tape on there to hold it in place. I'm going to flip this over. Then I'm going to take the next size smaller framelit, and I'm going to put that on there, and then I'm going to, no, I take that back. I'm going to use the same size, or bigger, one bigger. Okay, I've already, look at me, look at me. This was the second to the largest. This is the largest. So what I want to do now, hello Nina, is take my pencil and draw this circle in here where this black circle is. And I'll take that back off. And I can see that circle that I just drew. So I'm going to take, actually, I think what I did was I used the same size circle. I did not use the larger one. I should have wrote my instructions down for myself. I thought that I would remember it all. All right, so I'm just lining this same size framelit up with where I drew that circle, and we're gonna get this run through. Oh, yeah, it's really been humid here the last couple of days also. Just got a lot of, well, the temperature's not terrible. It's been like in the upper 80s. Today it's going to be around 90, but much like you guys, we have a lot of humidity in Tennessee, and I don't mind the heat at all, but when it's a wet heat like that, I hate it. It does not do my hair any good, I can tell you that for sure. All right, so I got this cut out. I'm gonna move the Big Shot over here for just a minute. I'm gonna grab my fast fuse and go ahead and get this stuck down to the front of the card. And I'll put a couple of pieces right there around where that circle is cut out to. All right, so let's get that lined up there. I'll open it to make sure. Yeah, it looks like I've got it lined up. Well, I kind of got it on my card a little bit crooked. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is cut out my little window frame. On this one, I used the pumpkin pie glimmer paper, but this was the last piece of it that I had. So I've got this piece, but it's just not going to be big enough. I really don't think. Let me try it. I'm going to take a look and see, but I don't know. It's not big enough. I didn't think it was going to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this same framelit one more time. Make sure I've got the right one. And I'm going to cut the circle out with the same size framelit that I cut out this hole with. Alrighty, then I'll remove that framelit, remove that circle. Then I'm going to make sure this is the right one. Now this is the largest scallop circle. I'm just going to try to get that lined up evenly around that hole that I just cut out and run this through. It looks like it's pretty even. Actually, I think I may turn it over. I might can tell what I'm doing better on the white side rather than the shiny side. That looks pretty good. And I'm probably going to be bringing my Big Shot in and out of the screen today for this card. Like right now I don't need it, so I'm just going to sit it down here on the floor. And I'm going to grab this. For this to put it on, I'm just going to use my liquid glue, put some on the back, and then we'll stick this down. I'm just about out. I need to get some more. So I'm just going to stick that down around that window there. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is reach over here and grab a block and just lay that down on there for just a minute. And while I'm letting that set up to dry, I'm going to go ahead and stamp on here. So I'm going to be using my Versamark. I'm going to take my embossing buddy and get that powder on there really well. And then my stamp set, where did I put it? I think I laid it over here. Okay, where did I put it when I was done with it yesterday? Okay, I'm losing my mind. Here it is. I just had it covered up with a piece of paper. Jeez Louise. Okay, so this stamp set is actually one of the ones that's from the new holiday catalog. It's called Spooky Cat, and there's actually like a bundle that goes together. There is a punch. I've got it sitting right over here. That's a little cat punch that you can punch this out with. And also some of the paper, let me grab a sheet of it and show it to you, because there's actually a cat on one of the designer series papers that you can use. This one right here, you can also use the punch to punch those cats out too. So I just think the paper is really, really cute. I like it a lot. While I'm up on my feet, let me just show you a few of the other patterns. So like on the opposite side of the cat, there's this little polka dotted one, and some of them look like little flowers. Then we've got this that's kind of a fine stripe, and on this side you can actually cut each one of these out individually and stamp the owl or something on it. Then there's the little witches hats, and on the other side there's just kind of a, well, I don't know what kind of pattern you would call that, but just a pattern. So those are just some of the patterns of the paper that's in this paper stack, and I really like it a lot. So I'm going to use the Happy Halloween. I'm going to grab my stamp over here, or not my stamp, my block. I'll get that mounted there, and then get that all inked up in my Versamark. Looks like I got quite a bit on there. Then I'm just going to stamp that down just about in the middle of this piece of paper. And I just cut this about 1 inch wide, and it's about 4 inches long. It's way bigger than what I need, but the reason I did it like that is because I want to be able to hold on to it when I put it in there. Now I need to get my white embossing powder, and I'm just going to use this to do it on top of, and then use this piece of paper to put it back into the jar. So I'm going to sprinkle some right there on that Happy Halloween. There, that looks fine. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. It looks like some of it tried to come back off. Okay, that's good. So we'll put the rest back in here. I love, love, love embossing powder. I would love it if Stampin' Up! Would have more colors than what we have. We have white, copper, clear, silver, and gold. I would love it if they would get some black or different colors like that. I would probably use it a lot more if they had more colors. And even though they have those few, I do still use it pretty often. And I'm going to get my heat tool plugged up over here. And I hate using the heat tool when I'm doing a live video because you've got to listen to it, but hopefully it won't be too loud. So I'm going to get it turned on, and I let it sit for a minute to get kind of hot. And once it gets pretty warm, oopsie, then I go ahead and I start getting my paper used to the fact that heat is going to hit it. And I just kind of warm it up a little bit like that because the heat will make it warp a little bit. Then once I do that, I'll just hold it down right on top of my embossing powder, and it melts pretty quickly. All right, so hopefully that wasn't too bad. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool for just a minute. While I'm letting that cool, I'm gonna put my Versamark back over here in its holder. Now this is the classic label punch that I'm using for this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna line the Happy Halloween up in there and get it centered as best I can, then punch that out. Alrighty. So I'm just going to sit that to the side. Hopefully I won't lose it in the meantime. So this should be dry by now. Alrighty, so the next thing that I need to do is I actually have some fun foam. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but this is just that little foam that you can get at pretty much any craft store, Walmart, those kinds of places. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to grab my ruler, and my pencil is out. I did write down the measurement I want this to be over here. So I want it to be 5 inches by 3 3/4. So I'm just going to take my pencil and make my 3 3/4 mark right there. Then line that up and make a 5-inch mark right there. So I'll just drop that. And here. Then I'll just take my scissors and just cut this out by hand. And this is going to give me the lift that I need to be able to put my shaker card together and have some room in there for my glitter. I just picked this foam sheet up at Hobby Lobby the other day. All right, so there's that. Then I have this other piece of basic black cardstock, which is going to go on the inside. So let me grab my tape, and hopefully I'll do a better job this time of keeping it straight than I did the designer series paper on the outside. Then I'm going to close that up, and here is where I'm going to size down a little bit. Let's see, let me get all of my framelits in the right place. Grab my card and make sure that I'm going to be picking up the correct one. All right, so this is, let me tell you what size this is. This is the third from the largest circle. I'm going to lay that down right here. Open my card back up, then take my tape and just move it over here and stick it down where I want that framelit to be. And I'm gonna, oopsie, I'm gonna close this one more time and make sure, yeah, that's going to work fine. Okay, so then I'm gonna grab my Big Shot again, run this through. This card does take a little while to make, Debbie, but it's a lot of fun. And this is the kind of card that if I would not make a ton of them to give out to like classmates or something like that for one of my kids, because it does take a while to make the card. But if I was just going to do 2 or 3 of them, then I would take the time. And again, save that circle from the inside because we're going to use it again later. Slide this over for just a minute. Lay this on the back. Actually, I may cut that down just a little bit, and the reason why is because when I run this through the Big Shot, it actually squishes this foam out, kind of like you would if you were rolling out biscuits or something, and it makes it spread out. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit so I don't have to trim it off afterwards. Now I'm just going to leave my basic black right on top of that foam because it should cut through the foam with that hole already cut out, and I'm not in sight, am I? Let me get this over here. I'm actually going to go through twice just to make sure that I cut all the way through that foam. Hopefully it did. Yep, it did. All right, so get that out of the way. Move the Big Shot again. I told you I'll be putting that thing up and down and up and down and up and down. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, let me think about this. I've got to have my window sheet. So I'm going to put some fuse around this cutout. Put my window sheet right, let me think, make sure I'm doing this right. Yes, put my window sheet right here. Then I'm going to leave it on this side. I'm going to put some more fuse. Then I will stick this on top of, well, I think I may do it this way. I might can see better doing it this way. Stick my fun foam and my basic black together. So then my sequins will go in here. Now Stampin' Up doesn't have, or not sequins, I meant glitter. Stampin' Up doesn't have black and silver glitter that's bigger like this. And I didn't want to use the fine glitter that they have, because we do have silver glitter, but it's that really fine silver glitter. And I just didn't feel like that was going to work for this card, so I I'm being a cheater. I'm being disloyal. I'm using some jumbo glitter that I got at Hobby Lobby the other day. So then I'm going to end up putting this in here like this. So what I'm going to want to do is just take the tops off of this, and this silver glitter is going to go everywhere. I still am cleaning up after using it yesterday. Let's see, I can use my fingers, but it ends up sticking to me. So instead, I'm just going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to put some of the black down here. Then I'm going to scoop one or two, that's probably enough, of the silver, and just to make sure that I'm going to have it all encapsulated, I'm just going to use the bone folder and kind of scrape it all to the center right here where I think that circle's going to go. Here comes Sugar. I hear her pitter-patter feet. Okay. Let me see if that looks like it's going to work all right, and it is. Look at that static cling. All right, so I'm going to use my fast fuse one more time. And again, I'm going to go all the way around this circle because I don't want, and I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me try to move my card over here and then get this in shot. Going around that circle again because I want to keep all of my glitter inside this circle, and I don't want it falling down into the card where you can't see it. Then I'll just run a couple of strips top and bottom. That should be good enough. Can you hear Tucker and Joe out there in the hallway talking? I told them I was doing my live event, but boys don't always listen to their mamas very well. Which Joe is not my child, but he might as well be because he's over here all the time. He and Tucker are very close. I don't know what they're going to do whenever Tucker leaves for college on Saturday. I asked Joe, I said, are you just going to come over here and hang out with me and Tony? He might. You just never know. He certainly could. But the good thing about it is Tucker's going to be at UT Knoxville. That's like 3 hours from here, so they'll be able to hang out together on weekends anytime that they want to. So this is this part of the card done. Hopefully you were able to follow me and I did not confuse you too badly. All right, now I want to cut out some of the patterned pumpkin framelits. I'm going to use all of the pumpkins, and then I'm going to use this one. And remember me telling you to hang on to these circles. That's the reason, is we're going to use these circles to cut those out, and that way this little bit of paper doesn't get wasted. So on this smaller circle, I'm just going to lay that down out there kind of close to the edge and run it through this way. Then I will flip that framelit around, get that cut out off of there, and run it back through a second time and get another one cut out. And then we'll use the larger one. We'll actually be able to get 3 of these cut out. Okay, so sit that over there. We can toss that now. So we'll lay this over here as close to the edge as we can get it. Run one through. It looks like it's going to rain here today. It's kind of getting cloudy and the wind is kind of kicking up a little bit. I'm going to turn that around this way and line that up really close again. Run that back through a second time, and then we're going to do this one more time. Hopefully I've left myself enough room. I think I did. Uh-oh, I moved it. Hang on. There we go. Stay put this time. Okay, so that's all of those. So you'll need a total of 5 of these cut out. Or if you want to do more, you can do more. If you want to do less, you can do less. I just ended up doing 5 for my card. All right, let me put that over there and set the big shot down here beside Sugar Bear. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back that up again. I'm not finished with that big shot. I don't know what I'm thinking. Let me get this back. So I've got, this is the Spooky Night Designer Series paper. Oopsie, I need those there. Then I'm going to take my framelits, which fit around these pumpkins, which I think is neat that you have a stamp, because we do have a stamp set that goes with this that will stamp all of these pumpkin shapes too, and they even have the little faces. So you could either use the Designer Series paper that's already colored for you and cut these out, or you can stamp your own and make them look like you want them to look. So there's that pumpkin, and then this framelit goes around this guy, but my magnet is not wanting to let that framelit stay in one place, so I'll just use some tape. Then here's this one. He doesn't want to sit still either. And then this little guy right here. Hopefully that one will stay put, and it's gonna, yay. Okay, so we're gonna run all 4 of these through at one time and get these things cut out. My framelits over here because I'm going to use them a second time. I want my pumpkins to be a little more sturdy, so I'm also going to cut these out of some Very Vanilla cardstock and glue the 2 of them together. That way they're not going to be so flimsy. All right, so I'm going to sit this over here out of my way. Yes, Tucker wants to go to Nashville with Joe. What are y'all going to do up there, Tucker?
He might be trading his seat for some guy for wheels or something.
Okay, well just be careful. Alright, so I'm going to line all of my framelits up here. I think I actually picked up some Whisper White instead of some Very Vanilla. Either one would be okay. Run that back through, and besides, it's going to do something else too. When you open this card, you don't want to see the back of the paper in there, right? You just want to see something solid. So it's going to keep the back side of the paper, the Designer Series paper, from showing through too. Now we got all of these popped out. Let me put all of my framelits back over here, and then we'll glue these little guys together. I think I'm done with the big shot for now. Hopefully, yeah, I think I'm finished all the way. Nope, yep, I am. I wish I'd make up my mind, don't you? All right, so now I need to grab my glue, and if you see my, yep, here it is. I'm always laying paper on top of something that I need. It never fails. Then I'm looking around and trying to find it, and it's right in front of my face. So we'll glue the tall boy on the tall boy here. You could use fast fuse for this if you wanted to, but the reason why I like using the glue is it gives me a minute to get my pumpkin in the right place. So if I put it down on there and it's not perfectly lined up, then I have a few seconds to slide that around and get it in the right place on top. That one, and then finally the little guy. Well, you know, Glenda normally joins us for Walla Stamping Live, but she has been doing some, I think she said she was substitute teaching. She had retired, I believe, but I guess she's subbing for other teachers. But last week and this week, she's not been able to come and join us because she's been working, and I do miss having her with us. But I know she probably loves to teach. That's what I wanted to do when I was a teenager. That was my goal, was to be a teacher, and it just, life happened and it didn't work out. So I am teaching crafts now. Instead of teaching children, I'm teaching grown-ups, which is okay with me too. All right, so I've got all of these little pieces here, And we'll bring in this little card for a reference. So I have one going this way and one going this way. And then I have two pointing downwards over on this side, and then the last one is pointing up, if I can get it picked up. So for these, I think I will probably just use my glue again on this. I thought about using fast fuse, but I just don't think that would be the best thing to use. It would be quick, but it's too wide of a piece of tape. It would stick out past the edges of these little decorative pieces. So all I'm going to do with this is just put a little bit of glue on the back and spread it around a little bit, and then stick these into place. Now Sugar's in here chewing on her bone. That dog, I'm telling you what, every time if I go out of town and we leave her behind, she is so lonesome without her mama. She goes through the house looking for me. Isn't that pitiful? But she's so excited when I get back. She just likes to be up under my feet 24/7. I've actually tripped over her before when I was trying to cook dinner in the kitchen because she was laying on the floor right behind me and I didn't know it. And I stepped backwards to do something and just about bit the dust. Oh me, dogs. So now I've got all those puppies glued into place. We're going to do the pumpkins next. I'm going to use dimensionals for those. So for this first guy here, I'm actually going to stick my dimensionals onto the card. That way I know that those dimensionals are going right where I want them to, and they're not going to stick out over into the window here. Because like if let's say I put them on the back and I put one too far over to the right, then when I flipped it over, it would show through the window behind, and I do not want that to happen. So then on this one, we're going to put one dimensional right here on the corner of that pumpkin, and then I'm going to put two, one on top of the other right down here. And the reason I'm doing that is because this one is already lifted up at a higher level, and if I just used one and one, then this pumpkin wouldn't sit flat, it would sit at an angle. I should have moved this up or that down, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, here we go. Now it fits fine. And so then this guy is going to go over here. I'm going to put a dimensional right there and stick him down. And then this little bitty dude, I'm just going to use a couple of these smaller ones over here. Actually, it looks like I've already got them cut. You know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to slide one of these smaller ones up under here because this pumpkin is wanting to kind of turn sideways on me a little bit, or like lean sideways, and I don't want him to do that. So this one right here, I'm going to put one dimensional right down here on the very corner. And then I'll take two, just like I did before. Let's see, is there another one cut right there maybe? Yeah. Put the second one right down here. Hopefully this pumpkin will be big enough to cover up all of that. I think it is. Okay. So the only thing that I have left to do now is to put my Happy Halloween in there, and I actually used dimensionals to stick that down with too. And what I'm going to do is along here on the edge, there's some that are not cut all the way. I'm just going to cut a strip of that, just like that, and then peel off the backing and stick that to the back of my Happy Halloween. If you have the foam adhesive strips, which I've used up all of mine, you could use that too, or you could just do like what I just did. And I'm just going to stick that down. I need to move it over to the right a little bit. Right about there. Okay, let me clean up some because I have glitter and dimensional paper everywhere. Alrighty, so there is our 2 shaker cards. I love them. I may have gotten a little too much glitter in this one, but it still moves around. So anyways, that's the tutorial for our card today. I hope that I made sense because I didn't have all of my instructions written out for myself, and even though I just created this card yesterday, I did sleep last night, so I may have forgotten a couple of things. I felt a little stammery right in the beginning, but good thing is I didn't have any huge mistakes this week. Yay, I'm so glad. Last week and the week before, it seemed like it was just a catastrophe. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed these card tutorials. Really easy to make. The products that I used as far as the framelits and the designer series paper are all going, and the stamps, they're all going to be available starting on September the 1st. So thanks, Debbie. I'm glad you like it. If you need a catalog, just send me an email, let me know. I'll be ordering some, and I'll be getting those out to people who are wanting one. So anyways, I hope that you have a great rest of your week and a good weekend, and enjoy the weather today, and I guess I'll talk to you next week. Love ya. Bye.